Hi, I'm Stephen Chu. I'm a professor of psychology here at Stanford University in Birmingham, Alabama. This is the second in a series of 5 videos on the cognitive principles of effective teaching. In this video, I want to begin discussion of the cognitive factors that teachers must consider to help their students learn. Cognitive psychologists have identified these 9 factors which influence learning. Student mental mindset, metacognition and self-regulation, student fear and mistrust, prior knowledge, misconceptions, ineffective learning strategies, transfer of learning, constraints on selective attention, constraints of mental effort and working memory. I'm not claiming this is an exhaustive list, just what we know about thus far. This list has 2 important characteristics. First, while the teacher can directly control some of these factors, others the teacher can only influence indirectly, and some the teacher can only monitor and manage, but the teacher must be aware of all of them. Second, these factors do not operate in isolation. They interact with each other in complex ways. Each factor affects the others. That means that improving one factor may also improve others, but it may also make others worse. It's the teacher's challenge to manage the interaction of all these factors to help students learn. Successful learning begins with a proper mental mindset. I've already discussed the importance of a growth mindset in the first of my study videos, but there are other factors as well. I'm going to refer to these as non-ability factors to distinguish them from grades and test scores. Self-efficacy is one of these factors, the belief that a student has the skills and abilities to master a topic through his or her efforts. Students high in self-efficacy see their performance as tied to their effort, whereas students low in self-efficacy see grades in their effort as arbitrary and due to chance. Next, students must believe that the material they are learning has value to them. Finally, students must believe that they belong in the class. These factors lead to productive persistence, in which students continue in their efforts to learn through challenges, difficulties, and setbacks. Metacognition and self-regulation are similar to mental mindset in that they have to do with student beliefs. Metacognition, for our purposes, is the student's awareness of their own level of understanding. As I explained in my first study video, weak students tend to be grossly overconfident. They believe they've mastered material when they really have not. Self-regulated learning is a model developed by Pintrick that includes metacognitive awareness. High self-regulated learning is strongly associated with high achievement. It occurs in 4 phases. First, students plan and set goals for learning based on what they already know. Second, they implement study strategies. Third, they monitor their progress and regulate their behavior to move toward the goal. Finally, they reflect on and evaluate what they've learned in relation to their goals. Good self-regulation involves regulation of learning strategies, motivation, and affect within a particular context. Student fear and mistrust can undermine even the most well-designed and well-executed pedagogy. Students fear being judged and evaluated, especially if they believe the criteria being used are biased or arbitrary. Students may take critical feedback as personal judgments of worth instead of as a means to improve. When faced with setbacks, they may withdraw and stop trying. Students may see class readings and assignments as busy work that has no bearing on their learning and no relevance to their career goals. They may well believe their efforts are unrelated to exam scores. Student fear and mistrust can cause even well-intentioned students and teachers to misunderstand each other and lead to bad outcomes. For optimal learning, students must trust that the teachers want them to be there, that the teachers believe that the students can succeed, and that the teachers are willing to help them to succeed. Students must also see the goals of the course as having value and being worthwhile. Often, teachers do not make clear the goals of assignments and their value. There must be a good rapport between teachers and students, and there must be trust. How can teachers improve these non-ability factors? Yeager and his associates have developed a method called wise feedback, which they found to be effective in improving these factors. Wise feedback has 3 components. First, it makes it clear that teacher feedback is a reflection of the teacher's high standards for all students. Second, it assures the students they have the ability to meet those standards with sufficient effort. And third, it provides the resources the students need to succeed, such as constructive comments on how to improve on future assignments. Let me suggest a few other approaches. Teachers should have a good idea of the student's level of understanding and their misconceptions. That way, they can design pedagogy that is challenging but not overwhelming. Teachers should make clear the value and rationale for assignments. They should provide frequent, timely, formative feedback that's specific and constructive, pointing out weaknesses and ways to improve. The feedback should emphasize the positive effects of student effort. The teacher can model the desired kind of reasoning and problem solving for students and make clear the criteria for the desired level of learning. Feedback plays many important roles in learning, and teachers must fashion the feedback to fit the context and the purpose. Improper feedback can be ineffective and even be counterproductive. Students may see the feedback as vague and judgmental, harsh, and even biased. It's easy for teachers with their years of experience to underestimate the amount of feedback and the detail of feedback that students need. Teachers have to find the right level of detail in their feedback for optimal learning, which often falls between more than what the teacher feels necessary, but not as much as what the student might like. Teachers must avoid promoting a fixed mindset by praising innate ability. And overpraising mediocre efforts can easily backfire, either by reinforcing mediocre standards or by coming off as disingenuous and undermining student trust. Feedback plays so many different roles in learning that there isn't a simple recipe for developing effective feedback. But there is one important consideration, and that is that students often don't see the value of feedback on their own. Teachers must explain and show the students how to use feedback effectively to improve their learning. In the next video, we move from mental mindset to the prior knowledge that students bring with them to the classroom, including misconceptions. We also consider the importance of effective learning strategies.